And all of you in running events tonight, make sure you get checked in a timely manner. We will not be making continuous calls for you to check in. So you may check in as early as you'd like. Just don't lose your hip numbers. And you will check in at the white shed at the start-finish line. So all the sprint medley teams should all be checked in and have hip numbers. Sprint medley will start us off at 3:45, so if you have not checked in, please do so. Once again, all field event participants, you should all be checked in at your venue. Once again, running events check in at the white shed at the start-finish line. Sprint medley relay team should be checked in if they've not done so. So sprint medley relay teams, if you've not checked in, please do so. We're 15 minutes away from that first section. We're running 5 sections of the medley, 3:45 scheduled start time. And running event athletes, once again, you will check in with the clerk in the white shed at the finish line, just outside of the track. All running events check in at the white building at the finish line. Sprint medleys are our first event, 3:45 start time. So all of our sprint medley should be checked in. We need the first section of the sprint medley to the starting line, please. We're going to get a little jump on things if we can. Sprint medley. First section, Waco, Winfield Mount Union, and the City High JV to the starting line. Section number 1 of the sprint medley to the starting line, Waco, Winfield Mount Union, and City High JV. First section, sprint medley relay, 100, 100, 200, and 400 meters. We need the track cleared, please. First section of the sprint medley about to begin.
Put the number 4s out on the track.
And Waco in 2, Winfield Mount Union running in 3, and Iowa City High JV in 4. First 2 legs of 100 each, and we go to 200 and anchor with a quarter mile. Winfield Mount Union in lane 3, running Pryor on the second leg, Panzer on the second leg. 4 City High, and we move now to the 200. We're running 5 sections of the sprint medley. All field event participants, you should all be checked in now. 3,200 meter runners, check in please. 3,200 meter runners, check in. Winfield Mount Union, Jake Edwards on the anchor. Winfield Mount Union with Edwards, Miller on the anchor for Waco. City High with Henry Schoen. This is the first of 5 sections in the sprint medley. Winfield Mount Union and Waco here on the front stretch. And Waco to the lead with Clayton Miller. Waco, followed by Winfield Mount Union and City High. Section 2 will have Columbus Community in 2, Fairfield in 3, Washington JV in 4, Mediapolis JV in lane 5. And a clean start here in Section 2. Columbus opening up with Jewell in lane 2. Conzal on the lead leg for Fairfield. Reed leading off for Washington. Washington in 4, Mediapolis in lane 5. Fairfield in 3, Columbus in 2 as we go to the 200-meter leg. Everybody's in their lane till we get to the anchor. Fairfield and Washington JV doing battle here on the front stretch. Fairfield and Washington JV. Fairfield first to make the pass. Washington with the exchange. Columbus and Mediapolis. Fairfield out in front. This is section 2 of 5. All 3,200 meter runners should be checked in if you've not done so. If you're running the 3,200, we need you to get checked in. All running event check-in takes place at the white shed at the finish line. And it is Fairfield and Columbus. Cherez running a nice anchor leg for Columbus. Fairfield out in front with Sane. Fairfield, Columbus, Mediapolis. $150.85 the time for Fairfield. $150.85. Section 3, we'll have Washington in lane 1, Prairie JV in 2, Fort Madison in 3, Mount Pleasant runs in 4, West Burlington in 5, Iowa City High Fresh Soft will run in lane 6. Section 3 of 5, Washington, Prairie, Fort Madison, Mount Pleasant, West Burlington, and City High. West Burlington moving well in lane 5 on this second 100 leg. We'll go to 200 and anchor with 400. West Burlington. West Burlington in 5, Mount Pleasant in lane 4. Fort Madison. They've got Teague Smith on the anchor leg. Prairie running second. Fort Madison out in front in this third section of the sprint medley. We're running a total of 5. 3,200 meter runners should all be checked in. And off the turn come the anchor leg. Mount Pleasant getting a good carry, making up ground here on the front stretch with Albright. Mount Pleasant to the lead. Cedar Rapids Prairie into second. Washington. And it's Mount Pleasant in section number 3. 147.83. There's our fastest time so far, 147.83. So that's our time to beat in this timed final. Section number 4, we're looking for Highland in 1, Cedar Rapids Prairie Fresh Soft in 2. Iowa City West in 3. Wapello, they were 4th in the 1A state meet last year, and they'll be in 4. Cedar Rapids Xavier in 5, and Ottumwa, a 4A state qualifier, will run in lane 6. Section number 4 of 5, Highland, Cedar Rapids, Prairie Fresh Soft, Iowa City West, Wapello, Xavier, and Ottumwa. Wapello with the exchange, and then off with Palmer. Parsons running this second leg. And we go to the 200 leg. Wapello with West. That's Ottumwa on the outside with Grave. State meet veteran for the Bulldogs. It's Ottumwa, Wapello, and Xavier. And we go to the anchor. Wapello with the pass. Garcia running the anchor leg for Wapello, or for Ottumwa rather. Wapello with Griffin. It's Ottumwa. And Wapello, Highland, Iowa City West, and Xavier. And Iowa City West is on the move. Abuhilia running this anchor leg for Iowa City West and moves them into third. Ottumwa out in front. And Wapello now on the move with Maddox Griffin. Wapello to the lead. Our fastest time so far in the sprint medley, 1:47.83 by Mount Pleasant. And Wapello, fourth of last year's 1A state meet. They're going to be the winners in Section 4. And they are the new leader at 1:45.12, 1:45.12 for Wapello. And that's our time to beat. And let's move now to the fifth and final section. In lane 1, it's a 4A qualifier from last year, Cedar Rapids Prairie. Iowa City, City High. They were third in 4A a year ago. They'll be in 2. 2A state qualifier, Mediapolis in 3. Danville in 4. Mid-Prairie runs in 5. And Carlisle, a 3A qualifier from a year ago, is in lane 6. Final section, sprint medley relay, 1:45.12 is the time to beat. Fifth and final section of the sprint medley. Mediapolis opening up with Lipper. They're running Egan on this leg. They got out well. Mid-Prairie in 5. Carlisle on the outside. Mediapolis running Isley on this leg, an outstanding quarter miler for the Bulldogs. And it's Mediapolis and City High. City High with Javon Harris. City High with Harris, Mediapolis with Isley. We're going to the anchor. Mediapolis comes out of the exchange with the lead. Cedar Rapids Prairie running Patterson. Mediapolis with Salick. Mediapolis and Prairie. City High in third. Caden Salick, state meet medalist for Mediapolis. 1:45.12 is the time to beat. Mediapolis and Cedar Rapids Prairie and City High 1, 2, and 3 in this final section. Mediapolis. And Mediapolis is going to be your winner. 138.76 for Mediapolis, 138.76. First section, 3,200. Need you out on the track, please. Scheduled for a field of 16. First section, 3,200, out on the track. Four by 8 teams. We need you to get checked in, please, if you've not done so. 4 by 8s. Check in. White shed at the finish line. 4 by 800s. Check in, please. White shed at the finish line. First of 2 sections in the 3,200, a field of 15. They get to the top of the backstretch, they cut down to the inside, and Noah Trucano of Ottumwa is our early leader. Maddox Benefield of Carlisle settles into second. We have a Waco coach to the upper level of the press box, please. Waco coach. We are in the white shed at the finish line. Need a Waco coach, please. Thank you. And it's Trucano, Bennett Allred of Cedar Rapids Prairie, Maddox Benefield of Carlisle. The early leaders, they move to the backstretch. And your leaders are on the backstretch. First of 2 sections here in the 3,200. All 4x8 teams, check in if you've not done so. Once again, running event athletes, you will check in at the white shed just outside of the fence at the finish line. Benefield of Carlisle, he's the leader right now. We've got a lead group of 4 here on the front stretch in this first of 2 sections. Benefield of Carlisle, Tricano of Ottumwa. Braden Marker of City High JV and Bennett Allred of Cedar Rapids Prairie. 5 laps to go. That lead group of 4 sticking together here as they come in on the front stretch. Benefield of Carlisle, Tricano of Ottumwa, Marker of City High JV, Allred of Cedar Rapids Prairie. Caleb Benson of Iowa City West running in that 5th spot. We've reached the halfway point. The leaders are on the backstretch. First of 2 sections in the 3,200. That lead group breaking up a bit now. Braden Marker of City High JV, the leader here on the front stretch. Maddox Benefield of Carlisle running 2nd. Allred of Cedar Rapids Prairie in 3rd. And Tricano of Ottumwa running 4th. Then it's Caleb Benson of Iowa City West. 3 to go for the leaders. Benson running 5th. Declan of Carlisle in that 6th spot. Running 7th. That's Yutzi of Mid Prairie. In the sprint medley relay, in Class A, City High was your champion, running 141.99. The Class B champion, Mediapolis, 138.76. And your Class C Sprint Medley winner with a new meet record of 142.19, Danville. Danville, the Class C Sprint Medley relay champions with a new meet record, 142.19. 2 laps remain. Braden Marker of City High, your leader, past the scoreboard, making his way to the backstretch. And your leader now coming into the front stretch, Braden Marker of City High. And Braden Marker, 1 lap to go. Maddox Benefiel of Carlisle, Bennett Allred of Prairie running second and third. Final lap for our leaders. Benson of Iowa City West has moved into fourth with a lap to go. And your leader on the front stretch, Braden Marker, junior from City High. Braden Marker. What? 11:04.16, the winning time for Marker, 11:04.16. And a field of 15 here in section number 2. We have Seth Cheney of Iowa City West wearing hip number 1. He was 25th in the 4A state cross-country meet and a state qualifier in this event a year ago. Lance Sabaski of Washington. He was 8th in the 3A cross-country championships at Fort Dodge and a state qualifier last year in the 1600 and 3200. And Sabaski is the early leader. Parker Max of City High wears hip number 4. Robert Strong of Iowa City West, hip 5. A.J. Bonison of Danville wears hip number 6. Chandler Hirschberger of Mid-Prairie, 7. Solomon Zog of Mediapolis wears hip number 8. Freddie Vergara of Columbus Junction. He was 24th at last year's state cross-country meet and a state qualifier in this event a year ago. His teammate Isaac Acosta, also in the field. He was a state qualifier at 1600 a year ago. 7 laps to go. Lance Sabaski out front. Seth Cheney of Iowa City West in second. Bonison of Danville in third. Section 2 of the 3200. The first section winning 11:04.16. So that's our time to beat. Zog of Mediapolis running in that 4th spot. Parker Max of City High. Vergara and Acosta of Columbus. All 4x8 teams should be checked in if you've not done so. All 4x8 teams. Here's your initial lead pack of 3 with 6 to go. Sabaski and Cheney and Bonison. 11:04.16, the time to beat. And it's Max and Zog and Vergara and Acosta. Strong of Iowa City West. Lance Sabaski of Washington. State meet medalist at 800 meters a year ago. 8th in the 3A cross-country championships this past fall. And this lead group of 3 is about to become 4 as Parker Max is about to move up and join with 5 to go. Sabaski and Cheney, Bonison, and Max. And it's Zog and Vergara. Robert Stong of Iowa City West. Isaac Acosta of Columbus with 5 to go. Asa Canny of Ottumwa. And your leaders once again come into the front stretch. Sabaski out front. The draft line of 3 behind him. Cheney, Bonison, and Max. Then it's Zog and Vergara and Stong in a chase pack of 3. 4 laps to go. Sabaski and Cheney and Bonison. Max off the pace just a bit now. Zog, Vergara, and Stong. Round out the top 7 on the backstretch. Asa Canny of Atumwa running 8th. All 4x800 teams should be checked in. All 4x8s should be checked in, both sections. And to the backstretch go the leaders. With 3 to go. Sabaski, Cheney, and Bonison. Parker Max of City High in 4th. Zog and Vergara and Stong. Asa Canny of Atumwa, Owen Vanderlinden of City High. Isaac Acosta of Columbus. Kaler and Stregmoller of Cedar Rapids Prairie. Two laps to go. Sabaski now Bonison into 2nd and Cheney running 3rd with 800 left. Lance Sabaski of Washington. A.J. Bonison of Danville. Seth Cheney of Iowa City West, 1, 2, and 3. And your leaders will be coming to the bell. Lance Sabaski has been our leader from the gun. A.J. Bonison of Danville running 2nd. 400 to go. 8:49 with a lap remaining. Lance Sabaski of Washington. Lance Sabaski of Washington. He's your leader off the turn. A.J. Bonison of Danville running 2nd. Lance Sabaski of Washington lead this section of the 3200 from gun to tape. Right at 10 flat, unofficially, Lance Saboski of Washington. He'll be your 3,200-meter champion for the 2022 Steve Roth Washington Relays. And 10 flat, 0.59 for Lance Saboski of Washington. Outstanding effort in this gale force winds at Washington. Lance Saboski, 10 flat, 59 to win the 3,200. And here's our battle for 4, 5, and 6. Freddie Vergara of Columbus will finish in 4th. See the results populating up on the board. Saboski, Bonison, Max, Vergara, and Cheney. So next up on the track will be the first of 2 sections in the 4x8. So both sections should all be checked in. Section number 1 should be out on the track. Cedar Rapids Xavier, Cedar Rapids Prairie JV, Mount Pleasant, Fort Madison, Cedar Rapids Prairie Fresh Soft, Ottumwa, Danville, Washington JV, City High Fresh Soft, Highland, and Waco. Scheduled for a field of 11 here in the first of 2 sections of the 4x8. Shuttle hurdle relay teams, check in please. Shuttle hurdle relay teams. All sections, check in. White building just outside of the fence at the finish line. And this is the John Sproul 4x8, first of 2 sections. Once again in Section 1 is Xavier, Prairie JV, Mount Pleasant, Fort Madison, Prairie Fresh Soft, Ottumwa, Danville, Washington JV, City High Fresh Soft, Highland, and Waco. Field of 11. And the lead leg here of this first of two sections, Xavier, Cedar Rapids Prairie, and Fort Madison running 1, 2, and 3. Mount Pleasant in fourth. Then it's City High and Prairie, and Danville, Waco, Washington, Ottumwa, and Highland. Xavier and Cedar Rapids Prairie JV out in front. All shuttle hurdle relay teams, check in, please, if you've not done so. Shuttle hurdle relay teams, all sections, check in. Check in at the white shed just outside the fence near the finish line. Xavier and Cedar Rapids Prairie getting set for the first exchange in this 4x8, section number 1. Xavier and Prairie, City High running third, Mount Pleasant in fourth. Cedar Rapids Prairie first at the exchange. Prairie and Xavier, City High. Mount Pleasant and Danville, Waco, Fort Madison, Ottumwa, Washington, Cedar Rapids Prairie. And Highland. And here's your leader, Cedar Rapids Xavier. Second leg of the 4x8. Cedar Rapids Prairie JV running second. Danville has moved into third. In the 3,200, Lance Saboski of Washington was the Class A champion at 10 flat 59. Seth Cheney of Iowa City West, the runner-up, 10-10-81. Parker Max of City High was third in 10:26.89. In Class B, Solomon Zog of Mediapolis, the winner, 10:58.49. Braden Marker of City High JV, the runner-up, 11:04.16. Chandler Hirschberger of Mid Prairie was third, 11:28.77. In Class C, A.J. Bonison of Danville was the winner, running 10:02.16. Freddie Vergara of Columbus, the runner-up, 10:56.83. Isaac Acosta of Columbus was third, 11:34.73. And we're going to the exchange. And the third leg, Cedar Rapids Prairie JV with the pass, followed by Xavier and Danville, City High, Mount Pleasant, Cedar Rapids Prairie JV, the leader on the backstretch. Xavier running second. Danville in third. Mount Pleasant now moving into fourth. This is the first of two sections in the John Sproul 4x8. Cedar Rapids, Xavier, Prairie, Mount Pleasant. It's the third leg of the first section in the 4x8. Xavier, Mount Pleasant, Cedar Rapids, Prairie, Danville. Mount Pleasant getting a very good carry from Reinders, and they move to the lead. The Panthers out in front first to make the exchange. And it's Xavier and Cedar Rapids, Prairie. The anchor leg here in the 4x8. It's Mount Pleasant out in front here on the anchor. Xavier running second, Cedar Rapids, Prairie in third. Danville in fourth. We're going to have 400 meters to go here in section 1 of the John Sproul 4x8. Mount Pleasant, Xavier, and Cedar Rapids, Prairie with a lap to go. Danville, Natumwa, Prairie, and City High. $200 to go for the leaders. All shuttle hurdle relay teams should be checked in. Cedar Rapids, Prairie, Xavier, and Mount Pleasant. Cedar Rapids, Prairie, scheduled to have Curtis Peterson on the anchor leg. $947.95 for Prairie JV. $947.95. And this is the second and final section of the John Sproul 4x8. Field of 12, City High in the field. They were fourth in 4A a year ago. Cedar Rapids Prairie was ninth in 4A last year. Iowa City West is in the field, 2A qualifier Mid-Prairie. Mediapolis, Carlisle, Columbus Junction, Winfield Mount Union, West Burlington, Washington, 3A qualifier from a year ago, Fairfield, and City High JV. First section went a 9:47.95. We'll follow this section with the shuttle hurdle relays. And Mid-Prairie moving to the lead here with a lap to go on this lead leg. Mid-Prairie with Nagy. City High running Noah Carey. That's Prairie in third. Mid-Prairie, a 2A state qualifier last spring. They're your leader on this leadoff leg of the second section. And the final section here of the 4x8. Shuttle hurdle relay will be next. We'll run that in 4 sections. And Mid-Prairie, City High and Cedar Rapids Prairie in a battle for second. Mediapolis in fourth. Cedar Rapids Prairie. Cedar Rapids Prairie at the exchange. Cedar Rapids Prairie and City High. Cedar Rapids Prairie and City High on this second leg of the 4x8. Mid-Prairie running third. And it's Mediapolis and Iowa City West. Cedar Rapids Prairie with 200 to go. Prairie and City High and Mid-Prairie running 1, 2, and 3. Here's your leader, Cedar Rapids Prairie. And we're going to the second exchange and the third leg here. Cedar Rapids Prairie. First to make the pass, Bryson Canton running this leg for the Prairie Hawks. Then it's City High and Mid-Prairie. West Burlington, Notre Dame, and Carlisle. Iowa City West and Washington and Mediapolis. All 3 classes run together in the events here at the Washington Relays. Then they're separated by class. 14 points and awards. The first section went 9:47.95. Here's Cedar Rapids Prairie coming off the turn with Canton. And we're going to be going to the anchor leg. Prairie followed by City High. Mid-Prairie in third overall. Once again, all classes run together in the events here at the Steve Roth Relays and are separated by class for points and awards. And we're going to the anchor leg. City High has made the exchange. Notre Dame has the stick for City High as they move to the backstretch with the lead. In second, Prairie out in front. Prairie scheduled to be anchoring Steinbreck. And here come your leaders off the turn. Cedar Rapids Prairie. Then it's City High. And Mid-Prairie. One lap to go. 9:47 is the time to beat. And Prairie off the turn. Cedar Rapids Prairie and the John Sproul 4x8. $842.26 for the winner. Cedar Rapids Prairie, $842.26. And we have special awards for the winners of the John Sproul 4x8. Here's City High. They'll finish second. As we finish up this 4x8, all shuttle hurdle relay teams, all four sections, you should all be checked in. 100-meter dash participants, check in, please. 100-meter dash, please check in. Can we get the four athletes from Cedar Rapids Prairie's 4x8 to the 50-yard line, please, for your medal presentation? Cedar Rapids Prairie, 4x8, who ran 8:42.26 to win the John Sproul 4x8. We need you at the 50-yard line, please. Good job, hurdle setters. Shuttle hurdle relay will be up next. We'll be running it in four sections. In this first section of the shuttle hurdle relay, we'll have Fairfield, Prairie, Fresh Soft, and Columbus Junction. Fairfield will run in 1 and 2, Prairie in 3 and 4, and Columbus in 5 and 6. And you see on the infield, ladies and gentlemen, at the 50, our winners of the John Sproul 4x8 and 8:42.26, Cedar Rapids Prairie. In the John Sproul 4x8 in Class A, Cedar Rapids Prairie, the winner, running 8:42.26. City High ran 9:06.99 for second. Iowa City West was third and 9:23.16. In Class B, Mid Prairie was your winner in 9:25.43. Mediapolis the runner-up, running 9:28.39. West Burlington was third, running 9:38.67. And in Class C, Winfield Mount Union the winner, running 9:34.43. Prairie Fresh Soft the runner-up, 9:47.95. And Columbus Junction was third in Class C, 10:05.95. Coming up here, this is the first of 4 sections in the shuttle hurdle relay. Fairfield, Cedar Rapids Prairie, Fresh Soft, and Columbus. Fairfield in 1 and 2, Cedar Rapids Prairie will use 3 and 4, and Columbus in 5 and 6. Cedar Rapids Prairie, Fresh Soft, the early leader. It is Prairie and Fairfield and Columbus. Columbus getting a good leg here from Cabrera. It's Prairie and Columbus and Fairfield. And Prairie first at the exchange. And Columbus, Cedar Rapids Prairie. And Fairfield. We go to the anchor here in the first section. And it's Columbus. Dante Zuniga on the anchor for Columbus. Fairfield on the inside with Ryan. Prairie running third. And Columbus and Fairfield. And Prairie in that order here in the first of 4 sections. 1:20.18 for Columbus. 1:20.18. Section 2, Mediapolis will be in 1 and 2, Winfield Mount Union in 3 and 4, and Highland in 5 and 6. Mediapolis, Winfield, Mount Union, and Highland, Section 2. Mediapolis on the inside, running in 1 and 2. Winfield, Mount Union in 3 and 4. Highland in 5 and 6. Winfield, Mount Union. Mediapolis, Highland. And Mediapolis first at the exchange. Mediapolis and Winfield, Mount Union, and Highland. Mediapolis leading this second section. Columbus won the first section and won 2018. And Mediapolis here with the anchor. Camden Stoltler. Scheduled anchor for Mediapolis. Winfield running second and Highland in third. Winfield with Hemsworth. Highland with Oriano, and it's Mediapolis in Section 2. $114.47 for Mediapolis, $114.47, so there's your new leader overall. Remember, we'll divide everybody up by class in the results and awards, but Mediapolis is the overall leader right now at 114.47 as we move to Section 3. Waco in 1 and 2, Mount Pleasant will be in 3 and 4, Mid Prairie in 5 and 6, and City High will run in 7 and 8. And a clean start here in Section 3. Mount Pleasant leading off with Davidson. They were a 3A qualifier a year ago. Mid Prairie qualified in 2A last year. City High in 4A. City High scheduled to have Matt Shakenbach on this anchor, or on the second leg rather. The IATC high jump champion from City High puts the Little Hawks in the lead. It is City High with Moore. City High out in front with Ian Moore. They're going to be anchoring Philip Kaplan. Mount Pleasant takes a tumble. Waco running second right now with Reichenbach, a 1A qualifier in the high hurdles last year. But it is City High. There's going to be your new leader. 105.84 for City High. 105.84. They're the new overall leader with one section remaining. In our fourth and final section, 4A qualifier, Iowa City West will be in 1 and 2. Cedar Rapids Prairie, they're the reigning 4A champions, and the Drake Relays runner-up from a year ago. They'll run in 3 and 4. Washington will be in 5 and 6, and Carlisle, third in the 3A final at last year's state meet, will run in 7 and 8. Final section, Shuttle Hurdle Relay, 105.84, the time to beat. All 100-meter dash participants should be checked in. If you're running the 100-meter dash, you should all be checked in, all sections. Iowa City West in 1 and 2, Prairie in 3 and 4, Washington 5 and 6, Carlisle in 7 and 8. Prairie out well with Alexander. They're the reigning 4A champions. Carlisle running well on the outside with Follis. They'll run Goodhue on the second leg. Prairie and Iowa City West, Washington and Carlisle. Iowa City West, they were a 4A qualifier a year ago. Prairie and Iowa City West, Carlisle and Washington. Cedar Rapids Prairie, they're going to be anchoring Jeremy Hardaway, one of the top high hurdlers in the state. Hardaway was on that winning shuttle last year. He was also 4th in the state meet in the highs and 7th in the Drake Relays. Jeremy Hardaway and Cedar Rapids Prairie. Carlisle running second, with Travis Hyde on their anchor leg. 104.39 for Cedar Rapids Prairie. And they are your Steve Roth Washington Relays champions in the Shuttle Hurdle Relay. Overall, 104.39. We'll get the hurdles off the track. Good job, hurdle setters. Up next, the 100. We're running 9 sections of the 100-meter dash. We'll follow the 100-meter dash with the wheelchair 100. Two and 3 are down there. So we're running 9 sections of the 100. All 9 sections should be checked in. Section 1 should be setting their blocks. Hanson of Cedar Rapids Prairie, McLaughlin of Waco, Roth of Waco, Brucker of Mediapolis, Shaw of Mediapolis, Roth of Waco, and Fall of Cedar Rapids Prairie. In the high jump, Matt Shakenbach of City High was the Class A champion, jumping 6 feet even. Grant Bowl of West Burlington and Mikey DePrima of Fort Madison tied in Class B, 5'8". And Class C, Braden Spain of Waco was the winner, jumping 5 feet 10. It's the first of 9 sections in the 100. Trevor Hansen and John McLaughlin. And it was McLaughlin of Waco, 1440 for the win in that first section. Section 2, calling for Pryor of Winfield, Fuke of Mediapolis, Huff of Danville, Hahn of Prairie, Catron of Prairie, Radley of City High, Bell of Highland, and Corrin of Cedar Rapids Prairie. That's the scheduled field for Section 2. Shuttle hurdle relay. Cedar Rapids Prairie, the A champion at 104.39. Class B was Mid Prairie at 111.41. And the C champion in the shuttle was Waco, 107.56. And a clean start here in section number 2, Pryor, Fuke, Huff, Hahn, Bell, and Corrin. On the inside, Preston Pryor of Winfield Mount Union. Corrin of Cedar Rapids Prairie on the outside. And it was Pryor, 1392. He's the new overall leader. Section 3, Blake Swart of Mid-Prairie, Shea Myers of Mid-Prairie, Cashton Pepper of Washington, Collier Bose of Fairfield, Payson Coleman of Mount Pleasant, Jamal Dodson of Mount Pleasant, Mason Watkins of West Burlington, and Dalton Church of Mount Pleasant. Section 3 of 9 in the 100. (1,600-meter medley teams check in, please. 1,600-meter medley check in. Once again, check-in is at the white shed outside the fence at the finish line. And once again, this is Section 3. Myers of Mid-Prairie. And a good finish in lane 6 by Jamal Dodson of Mount Pleasant. Dodson, 13-14. There's your new overall leader, 13-14 for Jamal Dodson, sophomore from Mount Pleasant. Let's move to Section 4. Wynn of City High in 1, Grout of Mid-Prairie in 2, Maida of Danville in 3, Gapin of West Burlington in 4, Nordhagen of Carlisle in 5, Calmes of Prairie in 6, Piesler Weber of Xavier in 7, and Rodriguez of Washington in lane 8. And this is Section 4. Nordhagen of Carlisle is your new overall leader at 12.97 here in the Justin Griner 100. Let's move to section number 5. Milks of Winfield Mount Union in 1, Nelson of Mediapolis in 2, 3 is vacant, Warnstaff of Wapello in 4, Canny of Prairie will be in 5, Wright of City High in 6, Thatcher of Fort Madison in 7, Payne of Prairie in lane 8. And this is section number 5, 12.97, our leading time so far. Nelson of Mediapolis and Canny of Prairie. And it was Nelson in 12.75. There's our new overall leader, 12.75, Aiden Nelson of Mediapolis. Let's move to section 6, scheduled to have Oris of City High in 1, Salima of Atumwa in 2, Lipper of Mediapolis in 3, Derby of Atumwa in 4, Sashini of Fairfield in 5, Wilgenbush of Xavier in 6, Farrington of Atumwa in 7, Rodriguez Flores of Carlisle in lane 8. Section 6 of 9. Meter medley relay teams, check in if you've not done so. Section 5 of 9. 6 of 9, rather. Salima of Atumwa. Atumwa running well there with Salima and Farrington. And Farrington out of lane 7, 12.45. There's your new overall leader, 12.45 for Mason Farrington of Atumwa. Now to section 7. Miller of Iowa City West in 1, Larson of City High in 2, Leiden of Washington in 3, Miller of Washington in 4, Brown of City High in 5, Hoback of Columbus in 6, Nicholson of Danville in 7, Zahn of Xavier in 8. And this is section number 7. Hoback of Columbus, Nicholson of Danville running well. Miller in the middle of the track. It's Nicholson in 12:72. Hoback 12:79. Our fastest overall time still 12:45 as we go to section 8. Any 1,600-meter medleys that have not checked in, we need you to do so, please. 1,600-meter medleys. If you've not checked in at the white shed at the finish line, we need you to do that, please. Section 8. Tan of City High in 1, Simmons of Winfield Mount Union in 2, Bonebreak of Highland in 3, Johnson of Fort Madison in 4, Archer Ogborn of Carlisle, the IATC Indoor Meet Long Jump Champions in 5, Perez of Wapello in 6, Streeter of Washington in 7, Newton of City High in 8. Section 8 of 9. We'll follow section 9 with the wheelchair 100. Section number 8, 12:45, our fastest overall time so far. Out of lane 4, Tate Johnson of Fort Madison. 11:64, there's your new overall leader, 11:64 for Johnson. Let's go to the 9th and final section. Mikkel Taylor of Cedar Rapids Prairie in 1. Jack Riley, a state qualifier in the 4x1 and 4x2 for West Burlington in 2. Jacob Miller, state meet medalist on the sprint medley for Washington in 3. Aiden Lyons, a 3A qualifier in the 200 a year ago for Fairfield in 4. Todd Rent of Iowa City West in 5. Jake Gustafson, the IAT 60 champion from Wapello, 3-time state meet medalist a year ago, is in lane 6. Barry Diallo of Iowa City West in 7. And in lane 8, a state qualifier, the long jump, and the 4x1 from Columbus, Caden Amagon. And a clean start here in this final section. Jack Riley of West Burlington, Notre Dame. Riley of West Burlington, Notre Dame. Miller and Lyons. 11:64 the time to beat for our overall winner. 12:02 was that time for Riley. So our fastest time in the Justin Griner 100 was Tate Johnson of Fort Madison. So Tate Johnson, we need you at the 50-yard line, please, for a special medal presentation. Tate Johnson of Fort Madison. Next up on the track, our wheelchair 100. Jaden Stafford, a freshman from Mid-Prairie. Jaden Stafford of Mid-Prairie. Tate Johnson of Fort Madison to the 50, please. Jaden Stafford, a freshman from Mid-Prairie here in the wheelchair 100. Jaden Stafford, outstanding job, young man. And at the 50, we have our Justin Griner, 100-meter dash champion. Justin Griner ran on the Washington Demon track team from 2003 to 2006. He holds a school record for the 100-meter dash with a time of 10:67. Some of Justin's other track accomplishments when he was a Demon: two-time Class 3A 100 champion, 3A 4x1 gold medalist, and a Drake Relays medalist in the 100. The winner of the 2022 Justin Griner 100-meter dash from Fort Madison, Senior Tate Johnson. And the boys' 1,600-meter medley is up next. We'll run 200, 200, 400, and anchor with 800. We'll be running in 4 sections. Section 1, Cedar Rapids Prairie JV in 1, Highland in 2, Washington JV in 3, City High Fresh Soft in 4, and Waco will be in 5. .400-meter dash participants, you're up next. We need you to get checked in. 400-meter dash follows the medley. We have a number of you that have not checked in. We need you to do so, please. 400-meter dash. All sections. Let's get checked in. On the track is the first of 4 sections in the distance medley. And the first of 4 sections, once again, the first 2 legs are 200 meters each, then 400 and 800 meters on the anchor of this medley. Cedar Rapids Prairie JV in 1, Highland in 2, Washington JV in 3, City High Fresh Soft in 4, and Waco in lane 5. And City High first at the exchange. Cedar Rapids Prairie and Highland. Washington JV. .400 meters on this leg. And we're going to be going to the anchor leg. The anchor is 800 meters here on the medley. And it's City High, followed by Prairie, and Highland and Washington JV. Cedar Rapids Prairie to the lead. And we move to the anchor. In the Justin Griner 100-meter dash, Class A champion was Archer Ogborn of Carlisle in 12:03. Tate Johnson of Fort Madison was the B champion and the overall winner at 11:64. And the Class C winner in 12:18, Caden Amagon of Columbus. So all of our 400-meter dash entrants, we need you to check in if you've not done so. The 11 sections of the 400. We need all 11 checked in. Highland, City High, Prairie, and Washington JV. First of 4 sections here in the 1600 medley. This is the first of 4 sections in the 1600-meter medley. And here are your leaders on the front stretch. Cedar Rapids, Prairie, Washington JV. Cedar Rapids, Prairie, and Washington JV. Tyler Alderton takes Washington to the lead. $429.52 for the Washington JV, $429.52. So there's your initial overall leader. Section 2, Washington in 1, Ottumwa in 2, Winfield Mount Union in 3, Fort Madison in 4, Wapello in 5, and West Burlington in lane 6. Section 2, 200, 200, 400, and 800. And Section 2, Wapello. Out in front here in the early going, Wapello, Winfield Mount Union. We go to the second leg, the first exchange. Winfield Mount Union. Winfield Mount Union running Buffington on this leg. Washington with Miller. That's Washington on the inside. Wapello getting a good carry. And we're going to go to the 400 leg. Washington and Wapello, Winfield Mount Union, West Burlington Notre Dame, Ottumwa, and Fort Madison. 400-meter dash participants, you should all be checked in, all 11 sections. And these quarter milers on the back stretch, Washington out in front. Cleese running the 400 for Washington. Wapello with Belzer. Winfield Mount Union. Winfield Mount Union and Ottumwa. Colby Newsom scheduled to anchor here for Winfield. Winfield Mount Union and Ottumwa, Wapello, and Washington. Here come your leaders off the turn. Winfield Mount Union and Ottumwa with a lap to go.
Nice job, William.
Wapello and Washington. Washington running William Kennedy on the anchor.
See you, girls. See you, ladies. Thanks, man.
This anchor leg to the back stretch and Ottumwa to the lead with Jake Mellon. Less than 200 to go, and it's Ottumwa and Winfield Mount Union, Washington and Wapello. Ottumwa and Winfield Mount Union here on the front stretch. Mellon and Newsom. And it is Ottumwa in Section 2. There's your new leading time overall at 4:08:39. .408:39, our fastest overall time so far. Section 3, City High JV in 1, Cedar Rapids Prairie Fresh Soft in 2. Columbus Community in 3, Mount Pleasant in 4, Carlisle in 5, Mediapolis in 6. Once again, City High in 1, Prairie in 2, Columbus in 3, Mount Pleasant in 4, Carlisle in 5, and Mediapolis in 6. Section 3 of 4 in the medley. 4:08:39 by Ottumwa, the fastest overall time so far. And we go to the 400 leg. Mediapolis on the outside. That's Carlisle in 5, Mount Pleasant in 4. Columbus in 3 with Cherez. Cedar Rapids Prairie in 2. And City High JV with Cooper running in lane 1. Will Davidson, could you come to the 50-yard line, please, for a special long jump award presentation? Will Davidson of Mount Pleasant, could you come to the 50-yard line, please, with a long jump award presentation for you? Section 3, coming to the anchor leg. Mediapolis and Mount Pleasant and Carlisle. Prairie. Columbus Community. And City High. Will Davidson of Mount Pleasant, could you come to the 50-yard line, please? Nearest the front stretch. Mount Pleasant. Carlisle. Mediapolis. This is Section 3, 4:08:39 by Ottumwa as our overall leader so far. One lap to go. Carlisle to the lead on the backstretch. Running freshman Camden Brown on this anchor leg. Mount Pleasant with Feldman on their anchor leg. Mount Pleasant here in Section 3. And Section 4. Cedar Rapids Xavier, a 3A qualifier to last year's state meet, is in 1. City High was 4th in 4A a year ago, and they'll be in 2. Mid-Prairie, a 2A qualifier in 3. Iowa City West in 4. Fairfield in 5. And Cedar Rapids Prairie, 8th in 4A in 2021, and they'll run in lane 6. 4:08:39 by Ottumwa, our fastest time so far. This is the 4th and final section. All 400-meter dash participants should all be checked in. Ladies and gentlemen, at the 50-yard line, we have our winner in the Jim Cavan Memorial Long Jump. Jim Cavan was a 1977 Washington High School graduate who passed away after a short illness in March of 2012. Mr. Cavan worked as a custodian at Lincoln Elementary for 34 years and was a volunteer at the long jump pit for many Demon track meets. The Jim Cavan Memorial Long Jump champion for 2022, he jumped 20 feet, 6.5 from Mount Pleasant, Will Davidson. Once again, 200 meters each on the opening two legs of this medley, followed by 400 and 800 on the anchor. Cedar Rapids Xavier, a 3A qualifier, got out well. They're running on the inside. Cedar Rapids Xavier, that's Prairie. They were 8th in 4A a year ago, running in lane 6. Mid-Prairie in 3. Harmson giving them a good carry. Mid-Prairie first at the exchange. Will Cavanaugh on the 400. That's Xavier on the inside with Rexroth. 4:08.39 by Atumwa, the overall fastest time coming into this final section. Xavier. Mid-Prairie. Thaddeus Shetler on the anchor leg for the Golden Hawks, and he's making up ground, but Xavier out in front. Cedar Rapids Prairie in 3rd. Cavanaugh and Mid-Prairie trying to close the gap. Shetler will anchor for Mid-Prairie. Cedar Rapids Xavier will have Lemker on their anchor leg. Xavier and Mid-Prairie. Xavier first to make the exchange. It's Lemker of Xavier. Shetler of Mid-Prairie. Cedar Rapids Prairie with Zach Cooper on their anchor leg. This is the anchor leg on the final section of the 1,600-meter medley. And it's Xavier with Lemker and Mid-Prairie with Shetler. 400 to go, and Thaddeus Shetler moves to the lead. Then it's Fairfield, Cedar Rapids Prairie, City High, and Iowa City West. .408.39 is the overall time to beat. That's Mid-Prairie getting a fine anchor here from Shetler. Mid-Prairie, Xavier, Cedar Rapids Prairie, and Fairfield 1 through 4. Mid-Prairie will be the winner in the 4th and final section, and they're going to have our overall fastest time as well. 352-82 for Mid-Prairie, 352-82. This is the first of 11 sections in the 400. Dixon of Prairie in 2, Rich of Waco in 3, Kiros of Waco in 4. First of 11 sections in the 400. 4x200 meter relay teams. Check in if you've not done so. 4x2s. All sections. Check in. White shed outside the fence near the finish line. 4x200s. Check in, please. This is the first section. Kiros of Waco, Rich of Waco, Dixon of Cedar Rapids Prairie JV. Junior Kiros of Waco, Trayson Dixon of Cedar Rapids Prairie. Trayson Dixon to the lead. .104.67 for Dixon. 104.67, so he's our initial leader. Let's go to section 2. Lena of Highland in 2, Blauvelt of Mid-Prairie in 3, Dunbar of Highland in 4, Walker of Wapello in 5. In the medley, Class A champion was Cedar Rapids Prairie, 358.51. Mid-Prairie won Class B in 352.82. They were the overall winner as well. And in Class C, Winfield Mount Union, 411.04. Blauvelt of Mid-Prairie in 3, Dunbar of Highland in 4, Walker of Wapello in lane 5. This is section 2. Tyler Blauvelt, sophomore from Mid-Prairie, out early. Blauvelt of Mid-Prairie. Tyler Blauvelt of Mid-Prairie. And Blaveld is our new overall leader at 103.65. Section 3, calling for Walker of Mount Pleasant in 1, Weber of Mid Prairie in 2, Wilson of City High in 3, Nelson of Winfield Mount Union in 4, 5 is vacant, Timmerman of Mid Prairie in 6. Section number 3, Walker, Weber, Wilson, Nelson, and Timmerman. Brady Weber of Mid Prairie, well in 2. Brady Weber. Peyton Walker of Mount Pleasant. On the inside, Peyton Walker of Mount Pleasant. Peyton Walker of Mount Pleasant. Walker's time 106.30, so Blaveld is still our overall leader at 103.65. Section 4, calling for Clark of City High in 1, Wright of Cedar Rapids Prairie in 2, Tran of City High in 3, Whaley of Danville in 4, Fullenkamp of Fort Madison in 5, and Prusner of City High in 6. And Sharif Wright of Cedar Rapids Prairie will be our leader through 200. This is section number 4. Kessler Whaley of Danville in lane 4. Whaley, Danville freshman, leading this 4th section. And it is Whaley. He's going to be our new overall leader, it appears. 101.19 for Whaley. And he is the overall leader, moving now to section number 5. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to go to Section 5, if you would, the real MVP of this meet tonight is going to be our starter, Mr. Bill Neal, out here in the weather, keeping us way ahead of schedule. How about a hand for Bill Neal? Thank you, Lefty. Now let's go to Section 5 with Byler of City High, Adams of Cedar Rapids Prairie, Rolfs of Prairie, Catron of Prairie, Hanson of Prairie, Forster of Xavier. Section number 5. 101, our fastest time so far. That's Byler of City High on the inside, and it's Adams, Rolfs, Catron, and Hanson of Cedar Rapids Prairie, and Forster of Xavier in lane 6. Kyden Adams of Cedar Rapids Prairie. Adams in 2, the leader off the final turn. Kyden Adams. Brian Forster of Xavier. And it is Adams. 101.46 for Adams. And we'll go to section 6. Cleese of Washington in 1, Unzicker of Danville in 2, Durbin of Fort Madison in 3, Campbell of Mediapolis in 4, Scala of Prairie in 5, and Gorley of Danville in lane 6. Gorley on the outside for Danville, his teammate Unzinker in lane 2. Ethan Unzicker of Danville. Unzicker of Danville and Gorley of Danville. Ethan Unzicker of Danville Senior is leading here in section number 6. And it is Unzicker out of lane 2. He's going to be our new overall leader as well. 59.16. There's our fastest time so far. Let's move to section 7. Edwards of Winfield Mount Union in 1, Wallace of Iowa City West in 2, Woods of Iowa City West in 3, Max of City High in 4, McWilliams of Mount Pleasant in 5, and Hake of Wapello in 6. All 4x200 teams, you should all be checked in. All 4x2s should all be checked in. If you're not, let's get that taken care of, please. 4x200s. You guys will be up next. Cameron Hake of Wapello taking it out early. Hake of Wapello well out in front with 200 to go. Hake of Wapello, McWilliams of Mount Pleasant. Wallace and Woods of Iowa City West. Cameron Hake of Wapello. McWilliams of Mount Pleasant. Hake and McWilliams and Woods of Iowa City West. Mason Woods of Iowa City West out of lane 3. 59.93. The 59.16 by Unzicker of Danville is our fastest so far. Section number 8, Buckingham of Carlisle in 1, Codd of City High in 2, Doherty of Xavier in 3, Abasali of West Burlington in 4, Edwards of Winfield Mount Union in 5, and Casey of Xavier in lane 6. Section 8 of 11. Section number 8. Joseph Casey of Xavier in lane 6. Edwards of Winfield Mount Union in 5. Casey and Edwards. Buckingham of Carlisle on the inside. Blake Buckingham, the sophomore from Carlisle, the leader off the turn. Buckingham. Abram Edwards of Winfield Mount Union. Buckingham and Codd and Edwards. And there's your new leader at 58.23, Buckingham of Carlisle, the overall leader after 8 sections. Section 9, Humiston of Columbus in 1, Kip of West Burlington in 2, Abahilje of Iowa City West in 3, Ulen of Washington in 4, Lompagna of Washington in 5, Schwenker of West Burlington in lane 6. Section 9, 58.23, our fastest overall time so far. .58.23 by Buckingham is our leader. Ulen of Washington. Abahilje of Iowa City West. Off the turn, Alec Ulen of Washington. And Ulen, he's going to be our new overall leader, 54.73. Here's your overall leader, Alec Ulen of Washington, after 9 of 11 sections. Section 10. Amici of City High in 1, in lane 2, a 3A qualifier in the distance medley in the 4x4 a year ago for Carlisle, Alec McCormick. In lane 3, a 4A qualifier in the sprint medley in the 4x4 for Ottumwa, Luke Grave. In lane 4, he was on the winning 4x4 at the IATC Indoor. Third in the 2A 4x4 a year ago for Mediapolis, Levi Arnold. In lane 5, from Columbus, a 1A qualifier at 1600, Isaac Acosta. And in lane 6, he was a high jump qualifier a year ago for Waco, Braden, Spain. Section 10. Section number 10 of 11, 54.73, our overall fastest time so far. As they move down the backstretch, McCormick of Carlisle in 2, Grave of Ottumwa in 3, Arnold of Mediapolis in 4. That's Spain of Waco on the outside. Alec McCormick, 3A qualifier and 2 relays last year for Carlisle. McCormick and Spain. Alec McCormick of Carlisle. Spain of Waco. Arnold of Mediapolis. Out of lane 2, Alec McCormick with your new leading time of 53:27. So Alec McCormick, the overall leader, 53:27. One section remains. Let's go to the 11th section in lane 1. Qualified to the state meet last year in 4 events, Ottumwa senior Austin Fountain. In lane 2, state meet medalist, the IATC 4x4 champion for Mediapolis, Anthony Isley. In lane 3, he's the reigning 3A state champion at 400 meters. State meet medalist in the sprint medley from Washington, Elijah Morris. In lane 4, he was the runner-up at the IATC indoor at 400 meters, Fairfield's River Patterson. In lane 5, from Carlisle, Braden Zondervan. And in lane 6, he qualified to the 4A state meet last year in 3 different relays, Ottumwa junior Mason Farrington. Final section of the 400, time to beat 53:27. $53:27 the time to beat. This is our final section of the 400. All 4x2s should be checked in. Morrison 3, the reigning 3A champion at 400. Washington Junior is out in front. Elijah Morris. Isley of Mediapolis in 2. Patterson of Fairfield in 4. And Elijah Morris will lead it off the turn, 53:27, the time to beat. Morris, Patterson of Fairfield. Morris and Patterson and Isley. Morris of Washington out of lane 3. 51 flat for Elijah Morris. 51 flat. This front stretch is a challenge, and Morris muscles through it and runs 51 flat to win the 400. Five sections here in the Harold Aarons 4x2. First section, Waco in 2, Danville in 3, Mediapolis JV in 4. Waco, Danville, and Mediapolis, first of 5 sections in the Harold Aarons 4x2. In the Class A 400, Elijah Morris of Washington was your winner in 51 flat. River Patterson of Fairfield, the B champion, in 51.78. And in Class C, it was Spain of Waco, 53.93. And Waco, your leader off the turn. Going to the third leg. It's Waco. And Mediapolis. Now Waco leading this first section with Miller. They'll be anchoring Ty Egley. Egley has the stick and Waco has the lead. First of 5 sections here in the Harold Aarons 4x2. And it is Waco. $146.16 for Waco. Section 2, Mount Pleasant in 2, Cedar Rapids Prairie in 3, Fairfield in 4, Washington JV in 5. Section 2 of 5 here in the 4x2. Mount Pleasant and Prairie, Fairfield. Washington JV. Cedar Rapids Prairie. Prairie. Washington JV, Fairfield, Highland, and Mount Pleasant. Cedar Rapids Prairie out in front here in Section 2. 146.16, the winning time in the first section. And Prairie, first at the exchange to the anchor. Prairie and Fairfield. Prairie, Fairfield, Mount Pleasant, Washington, and Highland. And Cedar Rapids Prairie in Section 2. 142.42, they're the new overall leader, Cedar Rapids Prairie. Section 3, City High Fresh Soft in 1, Columbus in 2, Ottumwa in 3, Prairie JV in 4, City High JV in 5. Once again, City High Fresh Off in 1, Columbus in 2, Ottumwa 3, Cedar Rapids Prairie JV in 4, City High JV in 5, Section 3, Harold Aarons 4x2. Section 3, that's City High in lane 5. Cedar Rapids Prairie JV running well in 4. Ottumwa in 3, first at the exchange. Ottumwa, Cedar Rapids Prairie, City High. Prairie JV, City High and Ottumwa. And Cedar Rapids Prairie with the exchange. City High makes the pass, Ottumwa. City High Fresh Soft and Columbus. Cedar Rapids Prairie JV out in front in lane 4. Cedar Rapids Prairie and City High. This is section 3 of 5, 1:42.42, our fastest overall time so far. Cedar Rapids Prairie. The two City High squads battling it out for second. Columbus finishing well. 143.76 for Cedar Rapids Prairie JV. 142.42 by the Prairie Fresh Soft is still your leading time. Section 4, Xavier, a 3A qualifier last year in 1, Fort Madison in 2, 4A qualifier Iowa City West in 3, Winfield Mount Union in 4, 1A qualifier Wapello in 5, and Mediapolis, 4th in 2A a year ago. They'll run in lane 6. Section 4 of 5 in the 4x2. Section 4 of 5, 142.42, our fastest overall time so far. Wapello opening up with Palmer. They'll run Tade Parsons on the second leg. And Parsons, the state meet veteran for Wapello, has the stick. To his outside, that's Mediapolis with Egan. Wapello and Mediapolis. Winfield Mount Union in 4 with Miller. We go to the third leg, Wapello and Mediapolis, Winfield Mount Union. Fort Madison. Winfield Mount Union running Cam Buffington on this leg, and he's making up some ground on the backstretch. Wapello with Griffin. They'll be anchoring Jake Gustafson, the IATC Indoor 60 champion. Winfield Mount Union with Giese. It's Winfield Mount Union and Wapello here in Section 4. Iowa City West running third. Wapello, Winfield Mount Union. Winfield Mount Union and Wapello. Out of lane 5, there's your new leader at 1:39.55. Wapello, our fastest overall at 1:39.55. Let's go to the fifth and final section. In lane 1, a 2A qualifier from a year ago, Mid-Prairie. 6th in 4A last year. Cedar Rapids Prairie is in 2. Washington in 3. City High in 4. The reigning 3A champion Carlisle runs in 5. And West Burlington, a 3A qualifier in 2021, runs in 6. Fifth and final section. Fastest overall so far, 1:39.55.